Good afternoon. Today is the 8th of March and it's finally the day that the lump on the front of my head is being removed, and I've come overall nostalgic, viewers. Here we are in the St Cross area of Winchester, where we can't afford to live, and probably most of you can't either. On the roads where I actually took driving lessons and passed my driving test in September 2021. So the test centre is just up here, and what we're going to do is try to recreate some of the test and also show you the areas of where I went wrong, and also attempt to show you what a test was like back in the day, although it might be difficult. So here we are, viewers, outside the test centre in Winchester. I'm going to have to be very careful about where I actually walk, because I need to keep off private property, but I can film from the road where I am. See the sort of houses that are around here, and obviously some of those cars that are just there would be kind of used for number plate recognition, and to see if you can actually sort of read them from a correct distance. Gentleman there just saying something about passing his test, I think, on his phone. So he's walking around doing the same thing I'm doing. So you see there's 5 spaces. There's a blue Clio, and then there's a purple Citroen C3. Is that C3 Picasso there? But the bay between the blue Clio and the purple C3 Picasso is where I actually failed my first test without leaving the test centre, because I was in a little Saxo, part of the original launch fleet. The Saxo was N349SAX, a gold car. It's been off the road for years actually, but it was registered January '96, and by 2001 it became a driving school car. And instead of just sort of going forward and having to take honest manoeuvres to get out, I just turned right. That bay was empty where that blue Clio was, and I drove through the empty parking bay and instantly failed my test without even leaving the test centre. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, don't do that on the test, viewers. It's not very good. And the manoeuvres I would have done, I think all 3 times, at the end of the test, I sometimes did the sort of bay parking. On the test I passed, I didn't actually do that. I would have done it somewhere else. I can't remember where, somewhere. But yeah, so that's the test centre, and I'll then go on to show you now, just further up the road, just up there, where I failed my first test as well, because I failed on more than one occasion. I took 3 tests, and even on the first one I failed on 2 different things. One of the things that wasn't in the test when I did in 2001, but I believe is now, is that manoeuvre I've just done, which is moving off to the left from the right hand side of the road where you've parked. For some reason that, I think, is replaced reversing around a corner, or whatever they call it. They used to have different names for things in the test that most people would call, you know, parallel parking. They call it something else, or, you know, left reverse as opposed to something else. So what I'll just show you now is where I failed the second test. I'm going to be very, very accurate in terms of actually recreating this. So there it was in the Saxo. This car's an auto, so it's really not much of a problem as it would be. I was asked to pull up on the left in front of a car on this particular slope, which is a road called Christchurch Road. We are, I don't know, 150 yards from the test centre. Just gone over that little junction, which is a nightmare. You really can't see very well coming through there. That's one thing I do remember from the test, the road to be using that. So engine running. At this point I would have had the handbrake on and been in neutral. The examiner then asked me to actually pull off angled hill start when it's safer to do so. So you don't actually need to signal for this, or at least I don't think you did at the time. You might choose to do so, but I think we're okay. I've checked my mirror, and we can we can set off. And I'm not going to demonstrate what I did, I'll do it properly. There we go. So nice and easy, there we go. But what I did instead of just doing it nice and smoothly like that was I ran completely wide. I didn't hit the curb on the other side of the road, I just ran a little bit wide, and that was just a bit too wide for the examiner, I think. So I actually failed on that too, viewers. If I just failed because I drove through an empty parking bay, my instructor would have been livid and he probably would have challenged the test or something, but I failed on that anyway. So there we go, that's test number 1. So we're now in an area called Stanmore, which is just the other side of the railway from St Cross, and the test centre backs onto the railway, but the character of the area is quite different. It's a lot more affordable around here. A lot of students from the university live around here. The speed limit wasn't in force when I passed my test in 2001, but these speed bumps were certainly here. And I remember being told these ones, it doesn't really matter how you go over them, but these particular ones here, if you can go over them, just straddle them like this and just even out the car, then obviously do that. But if you are going to be ultra correct, you make sure that the left hand side of the car doesn't actually go over, but the right hand side does, and therefore you give the examiner a nice comfortable ride. This was the scene of a place which I failed my second test, and we'll go up a little bit further and I'll show you actually what happened. I might actually get out of the car to show you this. Gosh, I don't like these speed bumps, viewers. I really don't like them. Another person taking their test coming down the road. We obviously haven't changed the test routes very much over the last few years. So this is further up the same road. There is quite a slope. I don't know if you can sort of see. If I point downwards it might be a bit more obvious, but there is quite a slope. This is where the examiner on my second test told me to do a 3-point turn, or turning the road I think they used to call them. It's not really a very suitable place for it. This is kind of the main road through this area. Nevertheless, I was told to do it here for reasons I don't really understand. And it was quite a misty day, I remember that. It was in August, and I tried the best I could, but I think I failed an observation or something. I think it's deemed to be not very good. I'm not actually going to do a 3-point turn on this road. I don't think it's very safe to do that. Some people might do that who live here, but I would be far more inclined to turn around in a side road rather than do a 3-point turn on this road. You can see how busy it is. Yeah, I wasn't very happy about that, viewers. But what we'll do now is we'll go to another area, which is, I think, a place where I did the 3-point turn on my first or third test. I can't even remember. It's a very long time ago now, and we'll see a bit more of a suitable area for actually doing it. It's a wider road as well, which is good. And then after that, we'll see where I actually found out I passed my test, which is always very nice. Here's a question for you viewers. When approaching a bridge like this, I was always told to put a window down and then sound the horn to hear if anyone else was going down the road. I'm not going to actually sound the horn today, but is that something that when you took your tests back in the day, obviously it's different now, but were you told to put window down and sound the horn when coming through, that sort of thing as well? I'd just be interested to hear your thoughts about that. Here we are in an area of Winchester called Abbotts Barton. I remember on this road we think that it managed to stop at least one time, so I'll just check everything around me, and that worked remarkably well, viewers. I can obviously still do them, even if I didn't have someone tapping the dashboard. This road down here is where I remember Abbott's Road is where I remember doing a 3-point turn. again, there's quite an angle on this road, but this is a much safer place to do it than the last one. In fact, let's see if we can. So I must get my observations correct. No one here, so I'm not going to use my indicators, but let's just go round to here, make sure we don't actually get too close to the curb with the steering there. Into reverse, much easier of course than an automatic like this. And I've got parking sensors, which I never had in a test car. So back here, and then a little bit of steering back that way, actually even helping me there. Into drive and down here, and then I will just, if that Civic hadn't been there, it would have been a bit easier, but we'll just pull up, we'll just pretend we're pulling up where that is, and that I think is complete. There we go. So again, we're quite close to a test centre here. It's just kind of the next left, but at the end of my final test number 3, I literally pulled in just here, and I heard the wheel trims of the Saxo scraping along the curb. As you can see, this time no scraping, and I put the handbrake on, put the car in gear, and the examiner told me, congratulations, you passed your test. So obviously scraping along the curb right at the end, I don't think she even gave me anything for that. I was so relieved to hear that I'd actually passed. I can't tell you. So there we are, viewers. That is what happened on various driving tests throughout several months in 2001. Eventually I did pass. I have been asked whether I want to do advanced driver training at some points in my life. Obviously, some of you who were there do have advanced driving qualifications. I just found it, because it was Sunday morning, most of the time I was at church and things, and that wasn't very convenient. And also, it's quite expensive to do it. So that sort of put me off over the years. I don't think I'd be adverse to do it completely, but I think that's the reason for that. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this trip down memory lane. I do hope you found it interesting. Please leave a comment below about you know, when you passed your test and what happened. If you don't have to tell me, but you can if you want. Like this video, leave a comment below, and also if you wish to join the channel as a member, then that'll be wonderful too. Thank you so much indeed once again for watching.